Hello divas, dudes and dolls, I'm Caricature and welcome back to my frightening, filthy, unfreaky little review show, Very Slay, where we go over each and every floor show look from the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6 for one final time because it is the grand finale of this incredible season. Such a drastic improvement from Season 5, in my opinion. Season 5 I thought was like the beginning of the end, but in a lot of ways Season 6 felt like a return to form. It felt like the old Dragula, but with the like modern, more reality TV Dragula format that the newer seasons have come to establish. And from the sounds of it, it's looking like next year is not going to be Season 7, but instead Titans 2? Just based off of what Drac was saying in that final deliberation. So who knows? Maybe we'll be doing some Titans content on here pretty soon. As always, anybody who is unfamiliar with the show, this is how it works. When we talk about these looks, if I think that it met the brief, got the job done, but wasn't fascinating, we give it an okay. If I loved it, we give it a slay. And if I didn't like it, and I thought it was just a complete miss, we give it a nay. And that's all in efforts to find my weekly slay of the day, my favorite look of the entire episode. And that look will go head to head against anti-heroine's monochromatic monsters look to battle it out once and for all to take the title of my slay of the season, my favorite look across all 10 episodes. And whichever look holds that spot today will be the look for the season that I illustrate. Sneak peeks of that will be coming to Patreon soon, and I will be doing a live stream of coloring these slay of the season pieces, and it will be simulcast both to my Twitch channel and to here. So if you want to hang out with us, talk about the show while we do some art, talk about drag, talk about whatever, nerdy things, looks, fashion, drag, really anything. We kind of go all over the place whenever I do art streams. Those will be happening in 2 separate places that you can join and hang out with us in, and I would love to see you all there. Now, with that out of the way, we have realistically 12 looks to get through today. The 3 tenets of Dragula: filth, horror, and glamour for all 3 of our contestants, and we have a coronation look for each of them. We are going to dive into dissecting all 12 of these looks from all of our monsters, and I cannot wait. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all those lovely little things to keep all kinds of Drag Race fashion and look coverage in your subscription feeds. We greatly appreciate it. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and every little bit helps. Now, without further delay, let's start talking about these looks. Now, normally for my Dragula reviews, we do these looks in alphabetical order, but I want to do this a little differently and do these in order of where I think everybody ultimately ended up placing in the top 3. So we are going to start with, in my opinion, the clear 3rd place of the night, and that is Anti-Heroine. And the first look we saw from Anti here was her filth look. And I thought from the front, the straight on look, the skeletal kind of sickly green ectoplasmic look, I loved. I thought the look was gorgeous. Like, just the silhouette was stunning. The costume itself really looked like incredible on her. I was a really big fan of it. I thought the parasite coming all the way out as far as it did, you know, it made for an interesting silhouette. I think the performance of it kind of led to an interesting, like, conceptual performance, because the look ultimately wound up being about the cost of high beauty standards and the price of following those. And so she eats all these desserts and sweets, just engorges herself, but they're all filled with grubs and bugs and worms. And the whole thing is basically that she's infecting herself with parasites by eating all these sweets, so that way she loses all this weight and becomes this like skeletal, gorgeous creature in the front that we're seeing with this like dark, gross underbelly that, you know, lurks underneath. There's something really interesting and really dark about that narrative that I really loved. I think of her 3 looks, this was the best one. I am going to give this look a slay. Then we have her horror look, which was very camp, sci-fi horror. I think it fits in terms of her aesthetic, going more cartoony, going more stupid, very Mars Attacks. The prosthetic work I thought looked really good. The brain looks really well implemented into the head. I thought the makeup was cool. I did not like the dress that she starts with, this like big collar piece that's over the top of the bodysuit. I think it looked better without that. The bodysuit just read more in line with kind of the vision she was going for. And the silhouette of the pink dress on top just wasn't exciting. It was pretty bland. But when I think of horror, I think there's an argument that could be made that there is room for campy horror in this realm of competition, but I think Dragula has become so associated with like actual horror that this just didn't land as well. I think it's very good, it's a very clean look, but of the 3 horror looks, I think it was the least impressive and the most base level concept. So for that reason, I'm going to be giving this look an okay. And then we have her glamour look, when she said she was going full showgirl, because I know Auntie Heroine's drag mother personally. I know her drag family quite well. So when she said that she was doing this like showgirl Vegas-y kind of thing, I got really excited because that's a lot of her drag mom's aesthetic. And I think that the idea was better than the execution. This felt very much like quintessential Cher-like drag, which going out with that, great. I actually really liked the first look. I thought it was kind of small. I was expecting bigger feathers, bigger silhouette, maybe like a huge back piece, because her drag mom is known for doing those kinds of things with these showgirl looks. And the look was just like, here's the hat, here's the feathers, and then here's this dress cover up that had a really cool hip thing going on. I actually really liked that shape. I thought it was really interesting. And then she peeled out of it and it was just a bodysuit. For glamour? A bodysuit? So going into this particular episode, my boyfriend and I were watching it and we were discussing how we think that realistically, Asia's gonna come out and kill the filth category. Gray's gonna come out and kill the horror category. Auntie is gonna corner the market on glamour. And I think her filth look was more glamorous than her glamour look was. And her glamour look was the weakest look out of the entire set of 9. So for this look, I'm gonna give it an okay. It's passable. I honestly think I kind of overhyped what it was going to be based off of how much I liked her filth look. And this look was just not it for me. This was a letdown. You know what, actually, I changed my mind. I'm giving it an A. And then when we get into her coronation look, this red, orange, yellow, fiery fantasy, again, it's not really my thing. It's not that impressive to look at. It wasn't crazy about the ruffle placement. I think the hair's great, the jewelry's great. As always, Auntie is stamped. If I was Auntie watching the other two get ready, I would have known like very early, like I'm not winning this. Like there's no way. I feel like Auntie is the kind of person where she's just happy for whoever to succeed. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from her in the future going forward, but I just do not think that she really had an ounce of a chance as the episode went on. So I'm gonna give her coronation look an okay. It was fine, but I think overall her package put her clearly in 3rd place. Then up next, we have our 2nd place finisher, in my opinion, Grey Matter. Now Grey's filth look, I think of the 3 was the weakest. I thought it was an interesting idea. It was unsettling to say the least. Pulling out the poop, I didn't like that. And milking the udder. There was like a frenetic kind of weird harnessy kink performance element to this look that I thought was a little unhinged, a little wild. But just like sitting in the tub and pouring milk on himself, I didn't really find that aspect of the look particularly filthy. At first, when I saw like the hooks that were used in the horror look, I thought they were going to be implemented into the filth look, and it was going to be more of like a commentary on the meat industry or the dairy industry. And I just didn't really think that that idea landed. It was odd, I will give him that, but I think of all of the looks that Gray's delivered in the competition, this filth look was one of his weaker ones in the grand scheme of everything. And this is just an okay. His horror look, I hated it. I have to say that's like the highest compliment I can give for something like this, because if I haven't made it already clear on this channel, I'm not a horror girly. I do not like gore. I do not like viscera. And it's like body stuff and muscles and skin tearing and flesh being ripped open. That's the shit I cannot handle. And so watching Grey, this very Hellraiser coded look with the face mask on hooks stretched across the entire fucking room, and then taking the mask off to reveal the muscles that have been split over the skull, and then the chest piece that was peeled open, to have all the bits and pieces and giblets, and then pulled the skin mask off to the skull. He truly had the special effects equivalent of a double wig reveal with this look. I was kind of here for that. And then he started moving the mouth. And I hate skeletons. They freak me out. I'm not even kidding, y'all. The moment I found out as a child that I had a skeleton inside of me in like a flesh suit, I had an existential crisis over it, because it terrified me knowing that that was inside of me and inside of everybody else at all times. And it's mostly, I don't like seeing skeletons moving. And so seeing the mouth, I was so not into it. I was like, my boyfriend was like, oh, this is really cool. And I'm over there like, nope, but that's effective if it makes me feel that way. So this was really successful. I enjoyed this look a lot. I thought it was a little simple. In terms of conceptual base, it wasn't super impressive. I think when you look at Auntie and Gray, they did a horror look that is somewhat recognizable within a different known universe. I'm still gonna give it a slay. I did think it was the second best of the horror looks. Next, let's get into this glamour look, because this look gagged me. Like, I was screaming at my TV at like 11:30, 11:45, freaking out, because this look is like god tier excellent. The scale of everything. Even just when we saw the headpiece, the little dangly bits, all the sequin, I was intrigued. My boyfriend was intrigued. I think this was the look that we saw the setup or the concept for of all 9 of these looks that were in the floor show, that my boyfriend was like, that's the one I really want to see. The overall scale of it was just incredible. I loved it so much. And the fact that it was essentially the same kind of goblin-y character that Gray's entrance look and promo look had is such a wonderful full circle storytelling moment. I highly, highly adored it. I thought it was phenomenal. The boa though, the boa was my favorite part of it. It was just gorgeous. The whole look was a beautiful silhouette and it was embellished incredibly well. It just looked stunning. And I think far and away, this is what I wanted to see Gray do for glamour, but I was also kind of hoping that the mug would have been like super, super cunty. But it was like a cunty goblin. It did kind of meet that deliverable for me. What I enjoyed the most about this though was this was, in my opinion, the look to shut down anybody who says that what Gray does is not drag. There's times where it has felt a little more haunt actor, like character designer, and I've thought it myself that sometimes his look kind of missed the drag element. But this look for me absolutely delivered it in spades. This is 1,000,000% a slay. And then when we get into this coronation look, baby, I am so glad that Gray did not win, because the idea of this look getting covered in blood is so tragic. This look is stunning. It's my favorite of the coronation looks by a country mile. The back piece is gorgeous. It's just immaculate. This is a skeletal look I could really get behind. I thought this was impeccable work, impeccable detailing, and once again, it had that draggy, like glitz and glam element that I really, really love. Really knocked it out of the park. It's a slay. And then finally we have our brand new drag supermonster, Asia Consent, who is the first Black trans contestant to win any drag competition, as far as I can recall. That's pretty fierce. It has taken literally like 15 years for this to happen, and I'm so glad that it did. I think she's a great fit for the title, and I also just really love her storyline this season of being a super fan of the show, auditioning for every season that she's been able to. We love to see it. Now, starting with her looks, her filth look. Now, I'm no scat person. I think poop is quite nasty. But this is the Great Mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day if the Great Mighty Pooh decided to slay. You know, she's gonna throw her shit at you and get flushed down a toilet by a little squirrel. But I actually really liked the scale of it. Like, it was disgusting, but the silhouette was actually quite pretty. The texturing of it all, the entrance of coming out of like a pimply ass, wild. She's unhinged for that. You could really tell that this category is what she relishes in, is just being nasty and disgusting. She absolutely delivered that. It's gonna be a slay. Then we have her horror look, and as somebody who has also struggled with similar things that this look was based around, like the impact of this look blew my mind. It opened up a really interesting conversation for my boyfriend and I as we watched it, and we really had to, hold space for it. Just on a storytelling level, miles ahead of the other two. And I think this horror look is what really set her package apart. You got Asia off in her own little world doing this. The visual presentation of her sitting at the desk writing the note with the noose angled and wired so it's up, as she's like struggling. It's like quite sad but still glamorous mug. And then this demon back piece off to the side floating, pulling the noose. I thought it was just breathtaking. It wasn't horror in terms of the gore or just the scariness of, you know, the creep factor of a monster. It was so effective for me because it was my favorite thing about horror. And that's when horror is used to have an element of social commentary. Genuinely my favorite horror look, I think, really in all of Dragula. This is easily a slay. And in my opinion, the best look in the category. And then we have her glamour look, which I was screaming already because of Gray's glamour look. And then I was screaming again because of Asia's. This is gonna be a tough one for me today because this look is so stunning. And I think she really did what she set out to do with this look, where she wanted to really showcase the beauty of spiders in like an organic way. I really loved all of this like bone EVA foam sculptural work for this headpiece, the chest piece, on the arms, and then the legs. There was just something about the entire silhouette of this. It was incredibly sleek. And this is, I think, the most elegant thing easily that we've seen from Asia. And Asia's worn a lot of gowns over the course of this competition, but a lot of those gowns have kind of had similar silhouettes. There's been a lot of, you know, big shoulders, big exaggerated hips, a flared trumpet skirt, usually some cutouts somewhere along the way. She's usually got the tits out for a look. She's usually got like some kind of chaps thing going on at some point. But this look felt so different. This felt like the true final evolution of Asia Consent, and I was so glad to see it. It's a slay. And then when we have her crowning look here, I think she did something really smart with this because this look had a lot of like incorporated fake elements of viscera that looked like intestines and innards. She just looked like a big old wad of flesh and all these red tones. And I think playing with that idea for the blood pour, should she win, is a really smart idea because once you added the blood to all of it, it looked so disgusting in the best way. I think it made the best visual that any of the three winners would have made with the blood on their head. I think it was a very well-deserved win. I think this look is a slay. And now it's time to pick my slay of the day, my favorite look of the entire episode. And this is so difficult for me because it really does come down to Gray and Asia's glamour looks for this final slay of the day. I thought these were both phenomenal. I really want to draw both of these looks actually. But I don't know what to do because I really want to draw both of these looks. But ultimately, I know I'm only gonna have time to really do one for now because I have so many that I need to get caught up on as soon as possible. Because we're about to start season 17 and I haven't even done my slay of the season piece for season 16. That needs to get taken care of ASAP. I'm going to be giving my slay of the day to, as much as I want to draw both of these looks, I am going to give it to the look that I think I can make the more interesting piece of and in a more timely manner. So for that reason, I'm going to be giving my slay of the day today to Gray's glamour look, taking that final slay of the day. And now when we put this look up against Anti-Heroine's monochromatic monsters look, as much as I love this black and white alien mantis creature, Gray's look was, for me, the most wow factor, shocking moment of the season, and I was so amazed by it. I can't imagine giving my slay of the season to anyone else. Gray's glamour look is going to be the look I draw for Dragula season 6. And like I said last week, it was gonna be a glamour look that knocked Andy out of the top spot because these glamour looks consistently end up being some of my favorites in the season. So unfortunately, that is it for Dragula for this year for Very Slay. If you join my Patreon at the $5 tier level, there will be a bonus patron exclusive video that will be going over the unaired looks from the monsters that they have posted online. There's a good number of them. Vivi's gotten a lot up there. There's at least one from Aurora, and I cannot wait to go over those looks and dive into them all. And there will be a bonus fashion illustration that will come out of that video. So we'll see those of you there who have signed up for that, but otherwise we will see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching another season of coverage on the channel. And isn't it great not having to listen to me rant and rave and complain about not liking the Boulets as directors and producers? For a whole season? For 10 weeks? Anyways, be sure again to like, comment, and subscribe, all those lovely little things, and we will see you in the next one for whatever season that may be. And until then, y'all, be sure to go out there, stay kind, stay queer, and make sure that your day is very slay.